Good morning. You have been in suspension for 99999.
I don't think there's really been another game that made me feel the way Portal 2 made me feel. The atmosphere, the story, the music, the characters, and the gameplay are all something that no other game has really made me feel. Like, Half-Life 2 and its episodes were some of my favourite Valve games growing up, and I would replay them almost every week as a kid, but they didn't give me that same feeling that Portal did. Without fail, each time I play Portal 2, I'm reminded of why I enjoyed this game so much in the first place, and what makes it almost impossible to put down. For those who don't know, Portal is a series where you use portals to solve puzzles. The basics are shoot portal here, and then shoot portal there, and then step into portal. And while it sounds like a simple concept, some of the puzzles the game has you complete are actually really difficult and really test your brain. Never ever played a game with so many aha moments as I figure out a puzzle that I've been stuck on for an extremely long time. This game obviously has some of the best puzzle design ever, but it's not just the gameplay that has so many players hooked, it's also just the incredible story writing. You play as Shell. You wake up from a cryo sleep and you have as much information as the character you play as. You don't know where you are, you don't know how you got there, but all you know is that you hear a voice that tells you that you just need to start testing. And while the first game had extremely limited storytelling, it was quick to make you feel that something just isn't right. I mean, if we're just doing tests for science, why are there so many things that could kill you? What possible purpose could a turret have towards science? And to top it off, a character called GLaDOS talks to you throughout the entire game. And as you progress through the game, you start to realise that maybe she is not the light at the end of the tunnel, and maybe she wants you dead. I mean, this game literally has two characters and one of them doesn't even speak, and it still somehow portrays such a powerful story. That's when you escape the confines of the test chambers and you see her in person. And while we can definitely say Portal 1 was a good game, it's basically nothing compared to Portal 2. I mean, Portal 2 is not only a direct upgrade to Portal 1, but it explores the story so much further, and it's one of Valve's most visually stunning games. I mean, for Source 1 standards anyways. The game starts with you waking up from a deep sleep, again, and you wake up in what looks like a hotel room. You're told to do things like look at a painting or look up at the ceiling, and then you go back to sleep for a very long time. And while how long is unknown, people guess it's probably been about 20,000 years. And while you're trying to process basically everything that's going on at the moment, you're interrupted by a knocking at the door. You go and open it, and this is when you're introduced to a lovely little guy called Wheatley. Wheatley's a pleasant little British robot who says his job is just to tend to the humans. However, unfortunately, every other human has died and Shell is the only one that remains. Wheatley then moves the entire room to get you back inside the Aperture facility. Your goal is to find the portal device so you can use it to escape and reach the outside world. You travel through a few tests that teach you the basics of the portals, and then you find the portal gun. Upon grabbing it, however, the ground beneath you collapses and you fall further into the facility. You complete a few more tests using the newfound portal device until you eventually meet back up with Wheatley. He then says he needs to detach from his rail, however doing so would result in his death. He jumps off and isn't dead, but rolls around on the floor till you pick him up. He opens a secret passage in the wall and you are on your merrily way. After going through, you enter a part of the facility that's outside the test chambers, and once again you can just see how destroyed the facility has become in between the first and second game. Things are rusting and collapsed, and the majority of things are just completely broken. Unfortunately, to proceed you have to go through GLaDOS's chamber, which obviously means walking past her. We don't know whether or not she's alive yet, but we must proceed anyways. And I gotta say, first time I played this as a kid, I turned it off at this point. I didn't want to play it for almost a week. I'm not sure why, but this part is absolutely terrifying to me and honestly still sort of gives me chills now. You pass through GLaDOS's chamber and luckily she is deactivated. Wheatley then guides you to a small room where you plug him in, and then he attempts to get you both out of the facility. However, this doesn't really go to plan.
Power up initiated.
Okay, don't panic. All right, stop panicking. I can still stop this. Act natural. You've done nothing wrong. Hello.
Oh, it's you.
You know her?
It's been a long time. How have you been?
And this is when the creepiest segment out of the entire game begins. She then proceeds to kill Wheatley, the only character that has tried to help you, and throws you deep into the facility. This is the point of the game where I consider the actual game starting. You're given the dual portal device which lets you shoot your own orange portal, and you start to complete more generic style tests. However, a thing you'll probably notice throughout these tests is just how destroyed they are and how much of the facility has actually gone to waste. You see GLaDOS attempting to clean up the mess as you carry on through the tests, and eventually you get to a point where the tests just look perfect again. All the while she's telling you how much fun she's going to have with the new experiments she's thought up, and basically just saying how much she hates you for killing her. However, after a while you come into a test with something called an aerial faith plate. It basically just launches you in the air. And when you launch upwards, who do you see? Wheatley. He's alive again, and he's working hard to get you out of the facility once again.
Who turned off the lights?
Hey, buddy, I'm speaking in an accent that is beyond her range of hearing.
Look, Metal Ball, I can hear you.
Run! I don't need to do the voice. Run!
After several more tests, he helps you escape the facility, and you follow him to disable all of GLaDOS's defenses so that she's unable to kill you once you reach her chamber. After removing all of the defenses, you proceed back to GLaDOS's chamber and confront her once again. However, this time, she has no way of fighting back against you. You press a button that allows for GLaDOS to be removed from her body, and then you swap her out for Wheatley. Finally, after so much effort, you and Wheatley succeeded. You defeat the great and terrifying GLaDOS, and you get to leave with your new robot best friend. He calls you a lift and you enter it. It starts to rise, and finally, after being trapped in the facility for so long, you get to leave. Finally, you get...
I can't get over how small you are, but I'm huge. Actually, why do we have to leave right now? Do you have any idea how good this feels? I did this. Tiny little Wheatley did this. Sorry, what?
The engineers tried everything to make me behave, to slow me down. Once, they even attached an intelligence dampening sphere on me. It clung to my brain like a tumor, generating an endless stream of terrible ideas.
No, not listening, not listening.
It was your voice.
No, you're lying,
Yes,
you're lying.
You're the tumor. You're not just a regular moron. You were designed to be a moron.
I am not a moron!
Yes, you are. You're the moron they built to make me an idiot.
Well, how about now? Now who's a moron? Could a moron punch you into this pit? Huh? Could a moron do that? Oh.
Yeah, the game doesn't really just end there. The character you spent so long working with betrays you and just sends you plummeting to your possible demise. Can I say just how perfectly executed this betrayal is? It's revealed by GLaDOS that Wheatley is an intelligent dampening core, which basically means that he's designed to be dumb. Any idea he comes up with will always be a bad idea. So when he suggested to replace himself with GLaDOS, he unknowingly came up with the worst possible idea to fix the situation. And after he gains control of the facility, he keeps doing bad idea after bad idea, destroying the whole place with every little thing he decides to do. And the next section of the game takes another unexpected turn where we actually become friends with GLaDOS, the person who's just been tormenting us the past game. And without her controlling the facility, she's a lot more calm and collective. She's no longer corrupted by the insane power she once had, and is instead just inside a potato. And it gives us the chance to learn a lot more about her, and gives us a bit of sympathy towards her character. Couple that with Cave Johnson explaining that she was once a person that was put into a machine, it really just makes us sympathise with her. Wheatley, we don't really have a lot of sympathy. He's an arrogant character that isn't very likeable, and everything he does is just so dumb and lacks any common sense that it just makes it so hard to even begin to like him. And while he has somewhat of an upsetting past, with other robots bullying and tormenting him, it's not really relatable to us since we're not robots. But with GLaDOS, we sympathise with her character because she was once human and was corrupted by the facility. And the fact that she possibly didn't even want to be put inside the machine just makes us feel for her even more. I think Wheatley's story really has a moral to it. He becomes a robot god with the new power he gained from becoming control of the facility. Everyone's at his whim instead of the other way around. No longer is he a little robot that anybody kicks around, and instead he's a massive monster that can kill anyone with the blink of an eye. He's the one in control, and all of this power really just gets to his head, and he forgets that Shell was the one who helped him become this in the first place. And I think this links to the story of Icarus really well, because he became too eager and flew too close to the sun, ending in his eventual defeat. And the end of the game is just wonderful, because after connecting so well to GLaDOS, and GLaDOS finally breaking free of the system that corrupted her, she understands everything now and her purpose in the world. And while the system still commands whoever is connected to be obsessed with testing, instead of using humans she decides to use robots instead. Robots are something that she can just rebuild and she doesn't have to harm human life anymore. It's a beautiful and well written story, and it's what makes Portal 2 one of the best Valve games in my opinion.